Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Thursday, May 22, 2025. Making headlines tonight, 21 Belizeans deported from the U.S. arrive at the PGIA. Truck driver found dead on Valley of Peace Road. And Miss World Belize competes in World Designer Award competition. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
buido. Lorodo lo aba memela disha hon sumut. Palisi arranse dio.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. The first set of deportees arrived in the country today from the U.S. There were 21 Belizeans who arrived on a chartered Airbus A320 narrow-body aircraft. The chartered plane departed from Louisiana and was expected to land in Belize at 9:28 a.m., but was delayed and landed sometime after 11. There were some 150 deportees on board. Although only 21 were meant to disembark at the Philip Golson International Airport, PGIA, the plane then departed the PGIA en route to Peru and Chile. Of the 21 deportees, one man, Jody Ramdas, was detained for questioning, as he was wanted by Belize police for questioning concerning the attempted murder of his common-law wife, which occurred back in 2023. Two others were also detained for questioning concerning alleged links to other crimes. The remaining deportees, who are not considered dangerous, were then transported to the Queen Street Police Station and processed. These ones were deported for either entering the U.S. illegally or overstaying their visa. There was heavy security at the PGIA prior to the landing of the aircraft, and the media was denied access from several parts of the compound and were not allowed to record the deportees disembarking the aircraft. The public affairs officer for the U.S. Embassy, Luke Martin, spoke with reporters and shared more information regarding the entire process.
So, as you know, this flight came, charter flight from the United States to Belize. Normally, deportees return via commercial air, so this is the first time we've had a charter plane come to Belize with deportees. As far as the numbers go, I think our final number was in the 20 area. And I think the question about why, we saw reports with higher numbers as well, is a whole issue of due process. So it's not like they were just scooped up off the street and put on a plane. Everybody had the right to due process, went to court, had their hearings, had their appeals. So this happened through, legal means for sure.
Can you speak about why this flight was a charter flight and not a commercial flight?
Yeah, so from what we understand, it's an efficiency issue. Every week, Belizeans end up coming back on commercial air. It's a lot of manpower resources to be able to do that. So by putting people on a charter flight like this, and also including other countries in it, it is some kind of a cost efficiency that happens as well.
This isn't a case where an operation under the Trump administration in a neighborhood or community led to the detention of these individuals.
That's a great question. No, so this was not, knocking down doors and walking into houses. These are people that were all in the United States illegally. The majority of them had crossed into the United States illegally, and then the rest of them were overstays, had visas, and they overstayed as well. And the majority of them did have some kind of criminal offense in the United States as well.
Following the deboarding, what's the process that happens next?
So that's up on the Belize side, really to highlight cooperation. So they'll go through immigration talks to them. There are some, as you know, that have criminal charges here, and there's others that have things to resolve. So immigration and police, they're handling this as a security matter, and they will work on that, and they'll have their release as they see fit.
What's the message that an occurrence like this sends, not only to Belize individuals across the region? I know this flight is going Chile, Peru as well. What's the message here from the U.S.?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, this is a new message to Belize. I think other Central American countries have heard this before through past administrations, that illegal immigration is not something that's tolerated. This has always been the law. So the difference is, coming here, it's a different optic with a charter plane coming in. Everybody notices it becomes big news, but still, illegal immigration is not something that has been tolerated. There's a zero tolerance policy. Again, due process, legal appeals, people have the right to do that for different reasons as well.
Do you think that it affects, though, the confidence between the two countries and the relationship that they enjoy?
Do you mean between Belize
And the US.
US? Well, again, cooperation. I mean, this was not a surprise. This is something that right from the beginning of this current administration, that the Belize government was like, yeah, absolutely, we will take Belizeans who have overstayed or in the United States illegally, we'll take them back. The same way that if there's Americans that are in Belize that have overstayed their visa, that have criminal charges here, they're returned to the United States as well.
Is there an active pursuit for Belizeans or of Belizeans in the U.S. at this time?
So I think what you mean by that, so like breaking down doors kind of thing, that image or that idea of coming into workplaces and scooping people up. No, like that's not something that we're seeing. So everybody on this flight, they were illegally in the United States, and like I said, many of them had charges, ranging from burglary up to, attempted murder. So there were some, serious offenders from both governments' perspectives as well.
Will we be seeing more of these types of flights? With the amount of persons coming on these charter flights?
I think my guess, and I'm just saying a guess on this, yes. I mean, if the administration is moving towards charter flights, it's more cost effective to have a number of people rather than just one-offs and two-offs on regular United and American flights coming here. Yeah. Again, this whole process of deportation can sometimes take up to 2 years with the appeals, with the talking with their lawyers, with, going back again. So it really does depend. Everyone will have a different story.
The lifeless body of a man was discovered near a Freightliner truck on the Valley of Peace Road in the Cayo district. The grim discovery was made sometime around 2:30 this morning. The man has been identified as 32-year-old Freddie Michael Ortega of Roaring Creek, Cayo. Reports are that Ortega's body was observed with multiple chop wounds. Inside the truck, police observed a pool of blood and a machete, believed to be the murder weapon. Police are investigating. A man was shot while working inside his yard in Santa Elena, Cayo on Wednesday night. The incident occurred around 6 p.m. on Carmen Street. According to the victim, 41-year-old Alfonso Vargas Diaz, two male persons approached on a motorcycle, after which one of them pulled out a firearm and fired several shots in his direction. Vargas Diaz was injured to the upper left thigh. He was transported to the San Ignacio Community Hospital for treatment and later released. Police are investigating. As we reported on Wednesday, there was a shooting incident at the corner of Central American Boulevard and Fabers Road in Belize City around 11:50 a.m. on said day. Police have since recovered a 9mm pistol and have detained 2 individuals, including a 17-year-old minor, and are seeking a third person in relation to the shooting incident. Initial investigations revealed that Assistant Superintendent of Police Francis Williams reported that while he was passing the traffic light in an Isuzu Max pickup, he heard 6 gunshots. When he stopped, he noticed the vehicle had 3 apparent bullet holes. Further investigations revealed that 3 known male individuals were in front of an establishment in the area arguing when one of them pulled out a firearm and fired at the other 2. The bullets missed the intended targets but struck the Isuzu Max pickup. The Transport Department branch in Spanish Lookout, Cayo is currently under investigation as over $80,000 is unaccounted for. 3 public officers employed at the branch are currently being investigated: a cashier, a supervisor, and a 3rd employee. The missing funds were noted sometime last week. New CEO in the Ministry of Transport, Chester Williams, told the media that an audit was carried out, and that's when the missing funds were discovered. The employees have been placed on administrative leave and have been given 14 days to provide an explanation. After the break, pork shortage to affect Agric Show and possibly Christmas. Stay tuned.
Hi there. Are you on your phone right now?
Drugstore, 28 Freetown Road, where you are better off alive than dead. Freetown Drugstore, telephone 223-2876.
Running W Brand Meats uploaded a video on their Facebook page on Wednesday indicating that the company has decided to forego their participation at this year's National Agriculture and Trade Show. Iskandar Bedran, a director of the company, said in the video that the country is experiencing a shortage of pork products. He said that their competitors are also experiencing the same issue. The company said that after a long deliberation, they have opted to honor the agreements they have with their regular clientele instead of appearing at the Agric show. Bedran said that the shortage of pork, which he blames on exportation, has even affected the total working hours of their employees. He said this has been an issue since September of last year. Bedran even warned that the issue could also affect the upcoming Christmas season.
Here we're not going to Agriculture and Trade Show this year, 2025. What could cause such a thing?
The shortage of pigs, the heavy exportation of pigs out of the country, the high cost of what we're paying for pigs. We don't have the product in-house. I barely have enough to send out trucks 5 days a week. We're only sending out trucks 4 days a week. My workers are only working 4 instead of 10 days, 8 days instead of 10 days. It's crazy what's happening to us. We don't have the product to attend showgrounds. If I do go to showgrounds, I'll short everybody. I need 3,000 to 5,000 big bone for showgrounds for one weekend, and I need 6,000 to 7,000 pounds of Italian sausage. I cannot sacrifice that to National Agriculture and Trade Show and leave my everyday client alone in the dark.
So then this is a direct repercussion of, because you're saying we're exporting. So you think that is a good thing for Belize, but we have to feed ourselves first?
If the government would sit down and discuss food security for our country and realize that what we have is too little for the country, instead of exporting. We need to think about the Belizean people before we think about other countries.
But has this happened a long time, or this is just today?
This has been going on since September of last year. We addressed the ministry about it, and all they said to us was, we cannot stop exportation. We don't mind they export as much beef as they want. Beef is not a factor in this.
So beef is different than pork?
By far.
Why?
Because there is excessive beef that the Belizean people don't use.
So now, simply again, we cannot go because we don't have the product. Long and short of it.
Right.
And then if you go, then everybody else, if I know what put up a barbecue stand, he no got, me no got, nobody got Italian sausage.
I have nothing to sell to the people that go to showgrounds that do the barbecue and stuff. I can't supply them with anything.
So everybody will suffer, but now your competitors, then they laugh or then they suffer too?
Then they suffer too. They don't have the product. They don't have it.
So this is not.
And our quality is different from our competitors. We're not to try to be better than nobody, but even our competitors are crying about it. They and all won't be able to do what they want to do at the showgrounds.
So they will hear it. It's not a personal decision that we don't want to go to a rich show. It's simply that we don't have it. There's a shortage. And here at Running W, we use up to almost 5,000 pig foot a month. Now you could do the math and figure out how much pig we kill. So, that your Italian sausage, your pork chop, your everything down to your ground pork, beef,
longanisa, pibil,
pig,
boneless ham. Everything is short. We don't have enough.
So if we continue this trend, December we're not going to have neither?
We have been in the same situation.
All right, there you have it with Mr. Iskandar Bedran of Running W Farm.
The EU ambassador to Belize, Dr. Eri Ascola, on Wednesday shared with the media topics that were discussed earlier in the week with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Francis Fonseca. She also explained that while Belize has been trying to be placed on the Schengen visa waiver list for a while now, it won't be happening anytime soon. Dr. Ascola explained why.
Yes, we had our political dialogue, which is called now Partnership Dialogue, which was chaired by Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Fonseca, and myself. And we touched upon many issues from political cooperation, from multilateral fora, to trade, to development cooperation, and of course human rights and democratic values. These kind of issues are always an integral part of our political dialogue, and therefore we spoke. We touched upon human rights. We touched upon the establishment of the National Human Rights Institute in Belize, and mentioning also the project that we just launched with the University of Belize.
Was one of those topics the possibility of Belize being placed on the Schengen visa waiver list?
This was also one of the topics that we discussed, and we are looking for. We are looking into that issue. It is not. It hasn't been easy, and we consider that yes, indeed, Belize does not pose many risks of security or illegal migration as such, but the process is always. It's a political process that needs to be passed in the European Union, and it depends on the political landscape. It depends on the appetite of EU member states to move forward on those kind of requests. And for the time being, the visa-free treatment it is not realistic, at least for the next couple of years, I would say, but there may be progress, some other progress that would facilitate the traveling of Belizeans in Europe. So we are still working on those options, and we hope to make progress in the months to come.
The Belize Bureau of Standards held a Consumer Rights Information Day event at the Belmopan Civic Center on Wednesday. Director for the Bureau, Samantha Banner, shared more information on the event and on consumer rights.
So today we're hosting a Consumer Rights Information Day, and this is basically in commemoration of World Consumer Rights Day. It was internationally celebrated on March 15th. However, we were unable to host it then, but we still thought it was a necessary initiative to organize. And so what we did was bring together several agencies that have some responsibility for consumer protection, and they are here to inform consumers of their rights in various aspects, from prices to food safety, the environment, even utilities and finances, weights and measures as well, and standards. And so they provide the consumers with the relevant information so that when they're in their marketplace, they know exactly what their rights are, and they can act as responsible, informed consumers. So there are 8 universal consumer rights, and those are your right to basic needs, and I think that says it all. You have a right to choose, so you can choose whatever products you want. You have a right to be informed. That comes with having all the relevant information so that you can make a decision on what product you wish to choose. You have a right to safety, meaning that the products you consume should not be detrimental to your health in any way. The products you utilize should be fit for purpose and last for a reasonable time once used responsibly. You have a right to be heard, because we know, all things being equal, everything don't always work out. Sometimes there are issues that we encounter, and there is a need to express yourself. So you go back to the business establishment, you explain what your situation is, and you have a right to do so, and then you have a right to redress. So when you go back to the business establishment, what do you expect, right? And so that's your right to redress, where they give you a refund, or they exchange the product for another product of similar nature, or they give you a cash value of, if the product was $200, you can get $200 of something else in the store. And then you also have a right to consumer education, and that's what we aim to do, to promote our consumer rights, to bring together all the agencies so that consumers can be well informed and educated. And then you have a right to a healthy environment. So we live, work, grow, play, socialize in an environment that is conducive to our health and well-being.
Banner shared more information on the stakeholders who were present and explained the role they play.
Well, the Bureau of Standards is responsible for consumer protection. So we have a consumer protection unit, and we do receive complaints on a daily basis on various issues. Now, some of these issues are not directly within our mandate, and so we have to liaise with other regulatory agencies for them to investigate the complaint on behalf of the consumers. So, for instance, the Bureau of Standards, we deal with measurement. So, for instance, we do the verification of the weighing and measuring instruments, the fuel pumps, the scales, and things of that sort. So any complaints relating to that we can deal with. We also deal with the development of standards, product labels, and then we do the promotion of consumer rights. So we also receive complaints on expired goods, and that's within the mandate of the Public Health Department. So they are here today, and they can tell the students, the consumers who visit, what they do as it relates to expired goods. When consumers go to a store, they experience any issues or notice that a product has expired, what can they do? We also have the Supplies Control Unit. They deal with price control and price regulated good. Persons always complain about prices. We know that some commodities have a control price, which means that that's a set price that a product should be charged for in the market. Or there's a regulated price where there's a percentage markup that a business owner can place on a particular product. So they are here to speak about that and the other elements of what they do. We have the utilities companies, so we have Belize Water Services here, how consumers can seek redress if they have any issues in that area. We have the Financial Service Commission. They're here to speak on financial aspects. We have the Public Health Department I mentioned is here. The Directorate for Drug is here, so they're speaking about medicines and things like that. And the Belize Tax Services. So you remember when there was a tax-free day in December, we paid attention to it because we realized that consumers would have different issues and concerns, and we noticed that one was with receipts, and so the Belize Tax Services here to speak about what a proper receipt looks like.
After the break, Key Calker residents showing interest in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We'll be back.
Imagine getting
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athlete Joshua Blanco, the co-founder of Belize Dark Arts Academy in Belize City and founder of Dark Water Jiu-Jitsu in Keycocker, shared how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu can be a healthy option for youth to stay on a productive path while staying fit. This evening, we learn how those in Belize City and Keycocker can become part of those respective gyms and get into the sport. Blanco shared more information.
For the kids, especially because of how the island is situated, is much tourism oriented. We want to make sure that the local kids have availability. They have to have options, especially like in education and other aspects. But we want them to know that, you know, there's basketball, there's softball, there's volleyball, but there's also Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I think a lot of the kids out there, especially the males, they need that interactive physicality, and when they have that, they bloom. They see other aspects like, oh, I need to start doing more physical training, I need to be more attentive to what I'm doing, and all the indirects that you don't even understand or you don't even see in doing just this martial art benefits them across all spectrums. For Belize Dark Arts, we have our monthly and our weekly fees. If you're looking for a good monthly fee, we have up to, for adults it's 75, for teenagers we have it for 50. This is monthly. And then if you're looking for something more affordable like the weekly fee, we have for adults is 25, and then for the students we have it for 15, right? We want it to be much more accessible for the teenagers. You know, we don't want them having to be too concerned about it. It's something much more affordable. For the same lines go for Dark Water at Keycocker. We do have, right now, we're currently, big shout out to Hardwood Gym at Keycocker. They give us a free partnership so we can pretty much get ready for future events. And so for competitors that really want to focus on it and we want to give them something back, that, you know, the time that you're dedicating to compete nationally or internationally, there are benefits to it. I know we encourage strength training. We make sure that we have our guys getting at least a form of discount from pharmacies at Keycocker as well. We're currently working with Alpha Boxing as well. They've actually given us a really nice deal for monthly subscriptions for their strength facility. And, you know, it keeps getting better. We have all of these applicable to us when you come and join us as well, right? And we just want to make sure that you guys are aware that, you know, we want it applicable to everybody. It doesn't matter your level of fitness. It doesn't matter how you feel or if you feel self-conscious about what people are going to think. We're an open-minded place. We encourage people to learn, and that's ideally what we want you to do, to learn.
Blanco also lamented the lack of proper sporting facilities in Keycocker.
I think Keycocker has a lot of beautiful places. It's just due to specific sports or the type of sports that you want to play, it's a little bit more difficult to find an appropriate place. You know, at the moment we're working out at Namaste. Big shout out to Namaste. We appreciate the beautiful facility. We can also have time for yoga and stuff like that. But we also would definitely appreciate something more private, something more secluded, something more us. You know, there's no problem with us sharing the event or sharing the venue, but we would ideally want something with covers or something that doesn't allow a lot of sand, you know what I mean? But you go to the island, you have to get wet. But ideally, we just wish, or we pray for someone takes the initiative to compose something for Keycocker, because I do feel as if there's a lot of potential out at Keycocker. There's a lot of potential in Belize in general, but at Keycocker, those guys definitely have something different.
Nayeli Oriano, who is a delegate in the upcoming 2025 Miss World Belize pageant, which is scheduled for later this year, held a dress drive in Belmopan on Wednesday at Aria's Restaurant and Lounge. She told the media that it was a collaboration with Isabella Zabanet, a delegate for Miss Universe Belize 2025. Nayeli explained that the dresses include donated prom and graduation dresses that will be given new purpose to those less privileged.
In collaboration with Project Royalty, we are doing a dress drive where we are receiving donations and where we are giving away dresses to those who need for prom and for graduation.
So how does this work? Do people bring dresses and how does it work?
Yes, so people who want to donate dresses, they can come ahead and give us dresses, and then we're gonna either put them up and give them away to people who come in, or I'm gonna be sending them down to Independence Village, where Isabella is doing her own dress drive. So I came in contact with Miss Isabella, who is a candidate for Miss Universe Belize, as she is running a project called Project Royalty, where she instills confidence in young women, and she just makes them feel like a queen and make them feel beautiful. So I decided that I wanted to be a part of that. So I told her we could either collect donations here in Belmopan or we can give them away as well. So that's where we came up with that idea.
And on Wednesday was the Miss World 2025 World Designer Award competition, where each of the 108 delegates features a gown designed by a fashion designer from their home country or territory. For Belize, Miss World Belize 2024, Shayari Morataya wore a gown designed by famed Belizean fashion designer Ronelli Rakenya, who credited Damian J. Moore for bringing her creation to life. The dress features a 2-layer fringe skirt paired with a nude corset and plunging neckline, which is adorned with embroidered flowers. The bodice is further embellished with piped leaves, which extends into a halter that wraps around the neck. The back of the gown is similar to the front, featuring the same bold plunging neckline. Miss World 2025 is being held in Hyderabad, India, with the pageant final scheduled for May 31. Other than the World Designer Award competition, the delegates have participated in other activities and competitions. Earlier in the week, Shayari presented her Beauty with a Purpose project, which centers on kidney health.
They say purpose gives pain a voice, and when you listen closely, that voice can change lives forever. Good day, I am your Shayari Morataya, Miss World Belize, and my Beauty with a Purpose project was born from listening to the silent struggles of kidney patients across my country, to the quiet cries of families burdened by treatment costs, and to the undeniable call God placed on my heart to serve. In Belize, kidney failure is one of the leading causes of death. Each week, new names are added to dialysis waitlists. Many of these people had no idea they were even at risk. Over 60% of our cases are linked to diabetes and high blood pressure, both preventable and manageable conditions if only the knowledge reached in time. But the problem just isn't the disease, it's the silence around it. It's the silence, and I knew I couldn't remain silent any longer. Nearly 3 years ago, I launched a national kidney health campaign with one goal: to educate, empower, and save lives. Through this mission, I've traveled across Belize, hosting free clinics in rural and urban communities, offering vital health checks for blood pressure, glucose, and kidney functions. For some, these clinics were the first time they had ever had access to such services. I've walked into classrooms to teach children and teens how to care for their bodies, created engagement educational materials in both English and Creole, and partnered with local medias to broadcast messages of awareness to thousands. I wanted to make kidney health more than a medical topic. I wanted to make it part of our national conversation. But the work went beyond the numbers. I sat beside patients during dialysis. I held hands with family members as they navigated the pain of losing loved ones. I witnessed the strength it takes to fight this disease without resources and the courage it takes to keep going anyway. That strength is what fuels me. To extend the reach of my mission, I became a proud member of Lions International, a global movement rooted in kindness and action. While Lions doesn't have a specific pillar for kidney disease, it passionately advocates for diabetes prevention. Through my work with the Lions, I know to help deliver programs for young people, combining my mission with theirs and empowering the next generation to take charge of their health. This project is not just about kidneys. It's about creating a healthier, more informed Belize. It's about community, it's about dignity, and above all, it's about hope. Beauty with a Purpose is not just a campaign for me, it's a way of life. It's the embodiment of a deeper calling, one that reflects the greatest example we've ever known, Jesus, who came not to be served, but to serve. And like him, I chose to lead through love, through action, and through unwavering faith. More than 850 million people worldwide are living with chronic kidney disease. Most don't even know it. But if I can be the voice that sparks a conversation or the hand that helps someone when they're in need, then every moment of this journey has been worth it. I may wear a crown, but I carry something far more important, a mission rooted in service, powered by compassion, and destined to continue long after the spotlight fades. This is my beauty with a purpose. This is the legacy I chose to build. And by God's grace, I will keep serving. One life, one heartbeat, and one act of love at a time. Thank you.
Shortly after arriving in India, Shayari, proudly wearing her Lion's vest, was interviewed by local media regarding the delegates' preparation.
Namaste India, Shayari Morataya representing the land of the free, Belize. So preparations have been very intense. It's a lot of aspects that go into it that, you guys don't see, but we've been preparing so hard for it. So we have the talent show, the national costume interview. So all of that is a lot of work that, each one of our delegates have been putting their best efforts into. So we can't wait for you all to see the final results. So my message to anyone would be to just go after it, put all your best effort into it, and I'm sure you'll be able, you're capable enough of doing it. Don't listen to what others say, focus on your journey because it's all on you.
And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. The repeats can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again Friday at midday. Join us again Friday at 6 p.m. for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.